When you watch a movie in theaters, it can be frustrating when there is a moment you want to rewind but can't. If only you had a little more time with the scenes.
Did I leave the stove on?
You know there's more to see within each frame. But before we begin, give this video a big ol' thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all of our pause-worthy moments. Let's first test your sharpness with this quiz. Can you guess the name of the movie from these emojis?
And please don't make the super suit green or animated.
Superhero Wallet. Deadpool is no stranger to pop culture references. The film is littered with them. There are so many Easter eggs hidden in the film, there are 100 and even 200 plus lists detailing them. Here we are going to share one of them. If you are up to date with the comic book movie scene, you know Deadpool is not Ryan Reynolds' first crack at a superhero role. In 2011, Reynolds wore green and went by the name of Green Lantern. This film was to launch him into superhero stardom. Sadly, the only thing he got from that was a fat paycheck, and he became one of the laughingstocks in the superhero scene.
I know, right?
There are several moments in Deadpool which reference this epic blockbuster fail. At one point, Deadpool begs for his supersuit not to be green or animated, but the best knock at himself comes at the beginning of the film. During the insanely slowed down moment, one of Deadpool's victims' wallet can be seen floating through an SUV, a collectible card of a man in a green costume. The suit is not exactly distinguishable as the Green Lantern suit, but that is most likely due to movie rights.
Now before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
Can I get an order of spit? Can you believe that it has been over a decade since the release of Will Ferrell's 2004 Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy? The film set precedents for comedy and loosened up the perceived notion on how silly a comedy could be.
Milk was a bad choice.
Watching it back then, it might have seemed like over-the-top insane silliness.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
Today, comedic historians realize the film's genius in its rethinking how the current comedy genre could be done. It was the first ensemble comedy of its generation, and a lot of the scenes were fully improv. Of course, it was not the first film to do improv in a comedy, or even narrative for that matter. It was the way in which it did so. One of those was how it took the comedic center away from the leading man and spread it throughout the ensemble. The entire film is comedy gold, even the establishing shots, like this one of the Mexican restaurant called Escupimos en su alimento. But wait a second, pause and rewind. Zoom in on that sign. What does that even mean? Well, it roughly translates from Spanish to, "We spit in your food." That's right, Ferrell's comic genius even transcends into establishing shots of restaurant signs.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Guess Who. For this next one, we want to play a little game called Guess Who. Have you played it before? Yeah? Awesome. No? Don't worry, the rules are simple. All you have to do is guess who the actor is when we show you them. Ready? Here is a scene from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. A stormtrooper guards Rey, the main actress who is strapped to a table. No, we are not talking about Daisy Ridley. You thought it would be that easy, huh?
What did you say?
Rey attempts to use the Force on the stormtrooper a couple of times by saying,
"You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open."
On the third try, the stormtrooper complies and lets her go. But have you ever stopped to wonder who that stormtrooper is? Of course not. No one ever cares about stormtroopers. But we don't blame you. Give up? How about a hint? This actor is currently well known from another film franchise older than Star Wars itself, and he prefers his drink shaken, not stirred. Yep, it's Daniel Craig, who is known for his role as James Bond. But why an extra as a stormtrooper? Well, according to Mr. Bond, he did it for blanks and giggles. We think you can guess what the blanks stands for.
These conversations used to end with an unusual request.
Bat obsessed. There is no other superhero quite like Batman. He is a mortal man, has the most recognizable superhero symbol, and his arsenal of gadgets and goodies to name a few. So it is no wonder movies of all genres consistently reference and hide Batman Easter eggs throughout. One of our favorite Batman Easter eggs is delivered in a subtle but yet not so subtle way.
Really? And why are you people here?
The film we are speaking of is the superlative opening montage of Zack Snyder's 2009 Watchmen. The opening scene is packed to the gills with Batman references. You might as well keep your finger glued to that pause button. When Night Owl socks an armed robber outside a movie theater as a couple in the background watch. The couple watching are Bruce Wayne's parents, and in this universe, they are not killed. Ironically, this would mean Batman would never exist since the catalyst for his crime-fighting passion comes from the death of his parents. If you zoom in behind Night Owl, a close examination reveals them to be Batman comic posters. Hate him or love him, there is no denying that Batman has become the world's most loved anti-superhero. Sorry, Deadpool.
They're all lame-ass teachers' pets.
Peabody. Let's travel back in time to 1985 when a small film executive produced by Steven Spielberg, written and directed by Robert Zemeckis called Back to the Future, was released. The film starred the quirky, lovable Michael J. Fox playing the infamous character role of Marty McFly. When Marty first travels back in time, his DeLorean car rips through the space-time continuum and crash lands on a farm in the 1950s. The car, still traveling 88 miles per hour, barrels through a barn and crashes into it. When the family inspects the crash, they find Marty in a futuristic spacesuit and think he's an alien.
That ain't no airplane. Look.
They quickly run away, frightened, and Marty darts after them. But they arm themselves with rifles and start firing at him. Marty runs back to his car and drives off as the father unloads his shotgun. In the final shot of the scene, the car drives off as a shotgun blasts a mailbox to smithereens. But wait, rewind and pause on the mailbox. Now zoom in and you can see Peabody painted on the side, as in the Sherman and Peabody cartoon, who are fellow time travelers. Don't worry, the boy who points at Marty is named Sherman. Skull Women. In this next section, we would like to take a moment to talk about a movie poster, but we wouldn't do you wrong like that and talk about just any old movie. The movie poster in question is from a little-known film from 1991 titled The Silence of the Lambs. At first glance, the poster appears to be minimalistic. It features a washed-out face of the main character played by Jodie Foster. Her eyes are blood red, and there is a butterfly covering her mouth. It's actually a moth, but the writer doesn't know that. At the bottom is the typical title of the film and cast and crew credits. So what is off with this poster? Can you see why it is being featured? No? If you zoom in on the butterfly, you can see a white skull-like marking on its back. These types of butterflies are known for this. So why, Screen Rant? Why do we care?
We don't have any more time for any of this now.
But we don't reckon time the same way, do we, Clarice? This is all the time you'll ever have.
Zoom in as close as you can get and you'll see the skull on this butterfly is actually 7 nude women arranged to appear like a skull. Yep, that's right. This is a very, very tiny version of famous photograph of Salvador Dali. Pretty cool, ain't it?
Potter, what are you doing wandering the corridors at night?
I'm sleepwalking.
Frisky Wizards. Harry Potter is family-friendly with its PG rating and filled with amazing role models and characters to emulate. That is, until you secretly follow the characters using your secret Marauders map.
What's he talking about, Harry?
For those of you muggles who don't know, the Marauders map shows the location of every student within the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It does this by displaying in real time the footprints of each person. So, what is so pause-worthy about footprints on a map, you ask, that it take up an entire section of this list? During the end credits of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Marauders map appears with footprints traveling around the names of the visual effects crew. When the screen scrolls down and to the leftmost point, pause it. Hidden in an alcove in the far left corner of the map is 2 very specific set of footprints positioned closely. Zoom in and you can see the footprints facing opposite directions, indicating they are facing one another. Rewind the moment and play it slowly. You will see the footprints wiggle for just a few frames. But what are they doing? Potterheads around the world presume these sets of footprints to be 2 students hooking up. What do you think that wiggle is all about? Airline ticket. If you saw Quentin Tarantino's 2003 Kill Bill Volume 1 when it first came out in theaters, then you know the struggle of not knowing the main character's name. For those of you who have not seen it, Tarantino inserted a sound effect anytime the character's name was said.
Mr. Steve.
the same sound inserted to cover up the sound of someone cursing. But there actually is a moment in the film you could have paused and been privy to her name long before Kill Bill Volume 2 was released. It's the scene where She Who Shall Not Be Named, played by Uma Thurman, buys an airline ticket to travel to Okinawa, Japan in search of revenge. There is a quick insert shot, only a few frames long, of Thurman grabbing her plane ticket. But wait, pause that moment. Now zoom in on the name. Look at that. She Who Shall Not Be Named has already been named. If you look closely, you can see the ticket reveals the main character's name to be Beatrix Kiddo, long before the sequel decided the audience deserved to know it. You mean to tell us all those sleepless nights could have been avoided had we just paused the freaking movie? Well played, Quentin.
What's the retail on one of those?
Cameras killed. Almost everyone on the planet has seen at least one of the Fast and Furious franchise films. They're hard to avoid. Most of the stunts in the earlier films were real and not CGI. This meant an insane amount of risk for the cast and crew filming. Luckily for the Furious franchise, they have been fortunate with their safety standards. That is, unless you're talking about their equipment. It's time to pull out your old collection of DVDs from your attic. Go ahead, we can wait.
They're long gone. Then it's over.
Okay, good. Now sift through and find your copy of the original Fast and Furious film. Gave your copy away? Will, what are you waiting for? Go get it back. Now pull out the bonus disc with all those special features you never even watched. Once loaded, go to the second page of the special features, highlight South of the Border, filming in Mexico, and press the left button, then press down. A highlighted image of a broken camera will appear. Click on that to watch a video dedicated to the cameras killed during the making of the movie. How cool is that? Only took you over a decade and a half to discover it. Better now than never.
Guests of the new celebrity Ding Dang Dong stay at the world-renowned Plaza Hotel, New York's most exciting hotel experience.
Donald Trump. Never in our modern history has there been a character so polarizing. President Donald Trump is by no means new to the media world.
I'm looking for The Apprentice.
Long before he was firing people on The Apprentice, he had his eyes set on stardom. In one of the most critically acclaimed films of all time, 1992's classic Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, there is an epic pause-worthy moment when the character Kevin, played by Macaulay Culkin, is lost again. He checks into the Plaza Hotel using his dad's credit card. Kevin wanders the hotel lobby and is in awe of how nice the place is. He looks around with his jaw wide open, admiring every single detail. He stops to ask a stranger walking by where the lobby is, and the stranger directs him where to go. Kevin thanks the man and walks away. But wait a moment, let's go back and pause. Zoom in on that stranger. Yep, that is none other than President Donald J. Trump. Roger Ebert, in his original review of this scene, wrote about Kevin having heartwarming conversations with the guest, and one of them being Donald Trump. We wonder what the review would say if written today.
Something wrong, sir?
How many of these moments did you not already know about? Let us know in the comments section below, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Oh, and don't think we forgot, the answer to our emoji quiz is